What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. But before we get into it, let's talk about the competition that we're running at the moment. It's lasting, I think, about 6 more days. All you have to do is go to the website, WeAreTottenhamTV.com. There is a tab on there that says T-shirt contest. All you have to do is enter your details, your name and your email address to be in with a chance to win it. And what you can win is a T-shirt for you and your friends. So be in with a chance to win it. Go to the website. Link is also in the description below. But yeah, some great T-shirts on offer for you guys. But yeah, a bit of transfer news to talk about today.
Right, before we get into the transfer news, it is Ben's birthday today. Come on, he turns 35. Everyone in the comments...
you got to show my age, don't you? You got to tell my age.
Well, your age is public knowledge. But need to say, everyone in the comments... go and smash those comments, send him his birthday wishes. Happy birthday to my big brother Ben. He's gonna have a great day today. Let's hope we get some good transfer news on his birthday. Come on.
Yeah, you know what, I was talking to someone on my way in today, and he was like, what are you doing for your birthday? And I was like, just give me some good transfer news. That's all I want for my birthday. Levy, do something. Look, I got a bald head now. You know,
solidarity.
So give me some good transfer news. That's all I asked for. Well, if some of these come true, then we could be in for a party today. No, but thank you very much for the wishes. But yeah, let's get into the transfer news. Let's talk about Giovani, Celso. Tom Barkley says that Aston Villa are interested in Celso. Unai Emery is a big fan of the player. Several other clubs are interested, with the Argentine ready and likely to leave Tottenham this summer. We heard yesterday that the Real Betis chairman saying, well, kind of distancing themselves of making a bid for him in the present time. But we're hearing Aston Villa are interested. We've also heard that Aston Villa are one of the clubs with the PSR issues that need to sell before the end of June the 30th. So I'm not sure how likely this one is.
Obviously, Emery had him at Villarreal, didn't he? So he knows him well.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say about Emery, last season, you know, had Zaniolo, who was quite injury prone.
Is he gone back now, Zaniolo? Or was it a permanent?
I think it was a permanent. I think it was because they signed him from Turkey, didn't they? I think. I can't exactly remember. Might have been on loan, but they've had a lot of injuries last year, Villa. So do they want another injury?
No, it's a loan.
It is a loan. Yeah. So do they want another injury-prone player coming through the door, like Lo Celso? Where does he fit in at Aston Villa? The way they like to play, kind of like a 4-4-2 kind of system a lot of the time.
They just got Ross Barkley in as well.
They just got Ross Barkley in. When he actually played at Villarreal, he actually played on the wing a lot. I don't really like him in that position. So do they want him to come and play on the right wing or left wing? But Unai Emery knows him, and he did do quite well at Villarreal. Obviously, he was part of that team that got to the Champions League semi-final under Unai Emery. So I do wonder whether he looks at him thinking, if I can get a good deal for him, he's a player I know well, and he can improve the quality of the squad. Would Tottenham sell him to Villa as being a rival? Probably.
I think so. Look, with him going into his final years of his contract, we're not giving him another contract. So I think they'll take. I don't think they care who the bid comes from. I think they just want him out the door.
Fair enough.
So look, we'll have to see how this one progresses, but it does say Villa and several other clubs are interested as well. So hopefully something gets done sooner rather than later. Let's talk about Jed Spence. Fabrizio Romano saying Genoa keep advancing in talks with Tottenham to sign Jed Spence on a permanent transfer after a successful loan spell. Negotiations continue with all parties keen on reaching an agreement in June. So hopefully we're near the end of this one now.
Yeah, it seems so. Knowing Spurs. And even knowing how we went with how long did the Jed Spence deal take when we actually signed him? That was like a 2-month deal. I remember literally every day it was like on the brink, and then it never really happened until mid-July. So knowing Tottenham, it's always a bit more complicated, but let's hope they can agree for Genoa a fee that, for me personally, I don't think it's that important what the fee is at this point. Just get him out the door and we can start moving on from it.
Yeah, you do imagine it's going to be less than the fee that was agreed before the loan spell. This was, what, $8.5 million? So because they're negotiating, I imagine it will be less, unless they are negotiating 2 separate deals with Spence going the other way and one of their players coming our way, like Albert Goodmanson or someone like that. You never know.
Maybe. Maybe we're going to put some clauses in there. You know, sell-on clause, all that kind of stuff.
I think that'd be smart to do, because I think he is a player with potential.
Buyback clause?
Why not? Why not? Let's talk about potential incomings. New name into the mixer today is Chris Führich of Stuttgart. Christian Falk says that Bayern and Tottenham are fighting for Stuttgart winger Chris Führich, 26 years of age. The winger has a release clause of £20 million. An interesting one. He's just been confirmed in the German squad by Julian Nagelsmann for the Euros. This season he's got about, well, that noise is a bit unbearable, sorry guys, there's someone blowing leaves outside the door or the window.
He doesn't want Führich.
It doesn't sound like it. He's trying to block us out, but he's got 8 goals this season for Stuttgart. I believe he's a player that's kind of grown in terms of stature in the last 3 years for Stuttgart, a winger. But what I'm also hearing from German fans is that he can be very frustrating and inconsistent in front of goal. They liken him to Timo Werner, like a better version of Timo.
Yeah, from what I've seen of him, obviously 15 goal contributions last season, I think, in all competitions, so fairly decent season. He is 26, so he's not exactly young. He is also predominantly a left winger. We just signed Werner, so are we going to then go for another cheap left winger? Because the only reason it sounds like I would go for him is because his release clause is £20 million. It's obviously very cheap, and for a player who can maybe get that kind of output, it's a good deal. But for me, the only reason you get Werner in is so you can kind of splash out a bit more money on another winger. So going cheap on another winger doesn't make too much sense. And again, if it's a left winger, does that mean do we see Son as a striker then? If we're going to sign another left winger, if we're going to have him and Werner on the left, does that mean then Son and Richarlison are going to be our strikers and we're not going to sign a striker? Is that what that means?
Do you think the plan is basically at Spurs is like, whatever deal you can do, what's best, the left winger or a striker will push the button and then Son will just fit the hole, whichever the hole gets left?
I don't know.
Is there a plan with Sonny? Like, I don't understand it.
I like to think there is, but at the moment it doesn't seem that way at the moment, because half the reports are saying we want a striker, half the reports are saying we want another winger. So unless we want both, but it seems as though we're just kind of seeing where he fits in at the moment. It doesn't seem as though we have an idea of where we definitely want him to play next season. Yeah,
which is a bit frustrating. But in terms of this player specifically, he is a player that stacks up really well on the data in terms of what we're looking for a winger. But I am a bit kind of worried about the reports coming from German fans saying he is really frustrating in front of goal, because we have a winger that we've brought in, Timo Werner, who does stack up well on the data, but is extremely frustrating in front of goal.
100%. So don't want another one of those. But again, why sign up? I guess if he's good enough, it doesn't really matter if he's cheap. But it just seems like Levy up to his old tricks, going for another winger who's got a 20 million release clause just after loaning Werner.
But does it tell you a lot that? I mean, maybe not because of the caliber of player that Bayern Munich have been going for the last 12 months, but they see him week in, week out in the German league, and they have, a history of getting the best talent from around the German league. And if they're interested, does that tell you that maybe he is a good player?
Yeah, I'm sure he is a good player, and maybe I don't know if they want him for a squad player or they want him to start every week, but the fact they're interested does tell me that clearly this is a player that should be looked at and has had a good season. From what I've seen of him previously, this does seem to be his best season of his career. He doesn't seem to have been consistently as good as this in previous seasons. So I don't know whether he's having a breakout season at 26 or is it just like, is he reaching his peak, or is this a one-off season?
Yeah, that's true. But what you've got to say is that he joined Stuttgart 3 years ago. And in terms of the numbers, he's progressed year on year. Every year he's progressed. So if he is going in that upward trajectory, maybe it's a good time to get him as well.
Good point.
But let's talk about Eberechi Eze now. Sammy Mockbell says that Tottenham do hold a genuine interest in Palace forward Eberechi Eze this summer. The player has a release clause in his current deal worth £60 million plus add-ons, which are believed to be in the region of 8 million. So more or less a 68 million release clause, 8 million of those in add-ons. And for that deal, just snap him up, man. Just absolutely snap him up. He will fit this club like a glove on a hand. He's an unbelievable player, and finally, it will give us a player in the Euro squad as well. When's the last time Spurs have not had an English player in a tournament squad? I can't remember one.
Maybe 2002 World Cup? No, was Sheringham a Spurs player then? He was probably. He went to. I don't know. It was probably a long time.
2002 World Cup. Didn't we have quite a few?
Who else would we have had? Just Sheringham, really.
Was it just Sheringham? I thought there was more.
Did Ledley King go? I don't know if he would have gone by at that point. I can't think of too many other players because we were terrible back then.
Didn't That was 98 was Darren Anderton. Darren Anderton was too late.
Yeah, he was too injured for them. Anyway, in terms of Eze, get this deal done now. Put the release clause down. Put the money on the table. This is an absolute bargain for the quality of player that Eze is, in my opinion.
We spent the same money on Richarlison.
For me, he's a £100 million player.
Ndombele.
He's an unbelievable talent. Last summer, you spent 47 on Brendan Johnson, and you're only paying another 20 million to get someone of the quality of Eberechi Eze. He fills a number of problems in the squad as well, on the wing, in the centre as well. He's just got so much quality and ability. When you've got an opportunity to put a bid in and stump the competition, you've got to take it. And obviously, we're not going to break his release clause unless we're certain that he wants to come. But knowing Tottenham, they probably won't want to pay the release clause because it's all up front, and they want to pay in instalments. They want a payment plan. And that would mean not paying the release clause that is on the table. But for me, I wouldn't risk allowing this deal to get away from us. I would put the money on the table and make Eze make a decision and put it to him. Look, we really want you. We're willing to pay the money up front. We really see you as a big part of the future and a big part of our project. And we'd love you to come to Tottenham, and we can build our. You can be a main player at such a big club. But knowing Spurs, we won't do that. We're gonna if we are interested, we'll have conversations. We'll try and get that price down. We're not gonna put the money up front at all, and we'll probably not end up getting him because we'll probably lose out somebody who's willing to pay more money than us or willing to put the money down. Like if City in this situation, I know City have loads of money, but they would just put the money down in this kind of situation if they're certain about him. And that's what we should be doing. I think if we've signed Werner on loan, we've got a bit of wiggle room now. If we're capable of putting that money down, we should just do it because he's worth it. Some players are just worth it, and I think he's in that category.
I completely agree, wholeheartedly, man. Get Eze through the door. And I think if you get Eze through the door, let's say you get him in early in this transfer window before the Euros, that automatically changes the whole narrative of this transfer window, and fans will be looking at it in more positive vibe. Because right now, there are frustrated fans thinking about this transfer window because Timo Werner's the first through the door. If Eze is the second, it completely changes the landscape of the transfer window.
100%, and everyone is going to be buzzing going to this new season. Eze is just would be a game changer. He's one of those where he genuinely changes the game.
Absolutely. And when you're talking about kind of different options that you can play, James Maddison gets injured and Eze comes in the number 10. That's not a quality drop whatsoever.
Yeah, no, Eze's coming to start. He's going to start.
No, but what I'm saying is that Eze probably would start on the wing, right, on the left wing, if he was to come here. But if Maddison gets injured, and you, that means you can shift Son out to the left, Werner out to the left, and play Eze in the number 10, which is not a quality drop at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love this deal to happen. I think it would be so exciting to have Eze in a Spurs shirt, but. No, and just knowing how Tottenham conduct their business, they're not. I don't see them just going full whack and saying, "Here's a release clause, bam," and now Eze. Now we can talk to Eze? Knowing Tottenham, they're going to try and get that price down, and probably end up losing out.
It's time to act like a big club, Tottenham. Put your money where your mouth is and get this man through the door. Let's talk about Conor Gallagher. Jacob Steinberg says that Spurs target Conor Gallagher is in no rush to leave Chelsea and is prepared to stay if the conditions for a move do not meet his requirements. And it kind of makes sense from Gallagher's point of view, because whether or not you're signing a contract, if the contract isn't on the table, all you've got to do is wait a year, free transfer, big signing on fee, big wages, your pick of any way you want. So I completely understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, there's no reason to rush into a transfer just because Chelsea need the money. You're in control of the situation. If Chelsea aren't offering you the wages you want and you're not convinced by a Spurs or Villa move, then it's actually in your favour to wait it out. And all you have to do is do your talking on the pitch. If you have an amazing season, then either Chelsea will be forced to give you the wages you want because you're just that indispensable, or you're going to get higher wages in a year's time by a club signing you on a free. So he's not. There's no reason for Conor Gallagher to rush into anything right now. He holds all the cards. So just because Chelsea need the money doesn't mean he should, sign a deal for Tottenham for 150 grand a week when maybe in a year's time he can get 250 grand or even pushing 3 if he's on a free transfer potentially, depending on who wants him. So that's why it makes it even more likely that Tottenham are going to get him this summer.
Let's talk about Lloyd Kelly now. This one's resurfaced again. The Chronicle are claiming that West Ham, Tottenham, Roma and Atletico Madrid are all providing competition for Newcastle in their attempts to sign Lloyd Kelly as a free agent. I like Lloyd Kelly. Left centre-back, left footer. I think he'll fit in well in terms of the squad rotation option for Mickey van der Ven. Free transfer as well, which maybe lets us go for other targets at a more expensive rate or a bigger rate. So I would like to see him come in. But having said that, I think if we are going to bring in a left centre-back, I would prefer to bring in one of those hybrids that can play left-back and left centre-back.
Yeah, and I think Kelly is that.
Oh, is he? Can he play left-back as well?
Yeah, he played left-back quite a lot at the end of last season, and actually he was quite good there as well.
Fair enough.
Got a couple of assists. So Kelly
can he do the
is
inverted role that we want?
I mean, there are question marks on that. I do think he's got quite a good. He's quite good in possession. He's actually quite comfortable. I don't think he's like an amazing player. He reminds me of a bit like when he plays left back. He plays the left back role a bit like Jan Vertonghen used to play it. Like he's clearly he can do the job. He's not like a natural in that position, but when he gets into the final third, he can. If you give him time and space to swing across, he can do it fairly accurately. But he's not going to be one of these left backs who's like always marauding down that side and causing problems like an Udogie or anything like that. I think he's a good player. Obviously, the free transfer makes this kind of tempting to bring him in. I do think, obviously, someone like a Calafiori is probably better. Buongiorno is probably better. Ito's much better on the ball. I think Kelly's probably a bit better defensively. But I think on the ball is probably where we would prioritise. So probably Ito would be a better fit. But if it's a good deal on a free. He is English as well, so it helps with the homegrown. So that helps. So I'm not against it. I think it would be a good deal. I do think he'd probably be a better deal for a Newcastle because I think he's much more of an upgrade on someone like a Dan Burn than he would be for us. But he does solve that problem. But again, I would only be more in favour of it if it allows us to really, push the belt out in forward areas.
Yeah, absolutely. But the way I see the squad shaping up, if Lloyd Kelly does come in, maybe Van der Ven becomes the backup left back. And then if Udogie does get injured, you shift Van der Ven out to left back and Lloyd Kelly essentially becomes the third choice at left back, but the second choice at left centre back.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
So I think that's where it could work. And let's finish off talking about Ivan Toney. Journalist called Steve K on transfers.com says that Tottenham are now ready to launch a 40 million bid for Ivan Toney. I'm not sure when, but they say already. Spurs seem to be ready for a long time, but don't seem to push the button.
Yeah, classic. I don't think 40 million is a bid they'll accept right now, especially before the Euros. I think they're going to want to wait and see what kind of other offers are out there. Obviously, they're going to demand, as they say, 60, 70 million. And I don't see our price coming down until you're getting close to August, in my opinion, or close to the start of the season. And then all of a sudden, the reality of not getting any money for Toney might start to settle in. And all of a sudden, as well, they're going to need that money so they can then replace him and start looking to the future. So, yes, we might make a bid now. I don't expect it to be accepted anytime soon. And
Brentford are just so, they love playing hardball with us. Look what they did to us in the summer with David Raya. The whole way through, 40 million, no wiggle room whatsoever. And as soon as, the end of the transfer window comes, they bend over backwards to help Arsenal with a much more favourable deal with a loan spell to get them around FFP, all these kind of different situations where with us, the whole way through, they were just playing complete hardball. So I don't expect Brentford to do us any favours in this transfer window.
No, absolutely not.
But that is your Tottenham update for today. Once again, click the link in the description below. Be in it to win it for a shirt for you and your friend. Just click the link. Add in your details, your name and your email address, and the winner will be announced next week. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.